Moin! What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are checking out 4 important rules while driving on the Autobahn. So I'm guessing we're going to be looking at comparatively looking at a few differences between what might be normal on American interstates or Canadian highways. I was complaining the other day because we went down to Victoria, British Columbia, and the amount of traffic lights that we hit on the highway is absolutely absurd. I was very unimpressed. Anyways, let's get to it, everyone.
Hello guys, this is Tom, the American guy in Germany. Let's talk about some Autobahn fun facts. So 70% is speed limit free. There is an advisory speed limit of 130 kilometers per hour or 80 miles per hour. You can see the fatality rate is 1.74 persons per 1 million kilometers.
Wow, the fatality rate one is interesting for sure. Like, why is it nearly double in the United States?
Traveled compared to 3.38 in the States. The Autobahn is really well maintained. They use antifreeze concrete so that it doesn't crack in the winter. And there's no tolls, which is awesome. If you compare it to Italy or Austria, they do charge tolls. And in Germany, it's different. The roads that are paid for by the fuel and car taxes.
Which it should be. We already pay absurd amounts of taxes.
So let's talk about merging onto the freeway. Use the acceleration lane to get quickly up to the speed of traffic. Turn on your blinker early and keep an eye on traffic. And as a merging vehicle, you have to find a proper gap. Others are not allowed to brake and disrupt the flow of traffic to let you on.
Yeah, merging is one of those things where people can cause accidents if they don't know how to merge properly. And I'm teaching somebody to drive right now, actually my partner, and that's one of the biggest things is just reiterating to them that they need to have the confidence to get the vehicle up to speed, and don't be afraid to step on that gas pedal, accelerate to the speed that you need to do to match what's happening in the highway lanes, and make sure that you're up to speed enough to merge safely. The people that cause accidents they hesitate, and they don't merge properly, and that can cause big issues.
Check your blind spot. Find a proper gap and enter the flow of traffic. Gotta stay on the right in case there is no gap, and make sure not to cross any solid lines.
That's very similar, and like even this right here looks very much like Canada, very similar.
So one important rule on the freeway is, or on the Autobahn, you have to stay on the right. That is called the Rechtsfahrgebot. So rule 1, you have to drive as far to the right as possible, especially when getting passed up, or if you're on a hilltop, in a curve, or in foggy conditions.
Yeah.
Rule number 2, the left lane can only be used to pass by other vehicles. Afterwards, the driver has to get back into the right lane. There is an exception to this if the next opportunity to pass somebody is approaching. Rule number 3, the middle lane can be used continuously if one or more slower cars are occupying the right lane. This is to avoid building lines of cars. Rule number 4.
There's nothing more infuriating than people that don't know how to drive and are going slowly in the left-hand lane. This happened to me a couple of times when we went down to Victoria on the weekend, and it's infuriating, and you have to really just chill and take the high road in those situations, not get too worked up, but it still definitely bothers me quite a bit. People that don't understand the rules.
If, however, the right lane is clear for more than 20 seconds, then one must switch back into the right lane. Here you can see a digital speed limit. These change based on the weather conditions and the traffic conditions.
Oh, that's cool. That's just like an expected thing in Canada. I don't know if we have any digital speed limit things like that, but it's kind of an expected thing to drive to the current conditions. Especially if it's snowing or icy or rainy.
So by now, I probably should have gotten into the right lane, but on the other hand, this truck is coming up here, so I stayed in the middle lane. If there's a lot of space and a lot of time now to get into the right lane, then I should get into the right lane. But of course you can't pass somebody up in the right lane. So that means that this white car right here, I have to slow down. I can't pass it up on the right.
This must make the use of cruise control sometimes a bit tricky. Like, shouldn't that white vehicle... There's lots of space in the right lane, so why aren't those people in the right lane then? If he has to slow down because another vehicle is in the middle lane, that would be annoying. Like if you have your cruise control on to 130 kilometers per hour and that person is doing 125 in the middle lane, you have to disengage your cruise control and then set it to the... Interesting. Wide open spaces.
Oh, here, by the way, you see these speed limits with the slashes through them. That means that the previous speed limit is no longer valid. You can go faster. Okay, rules for passing on the Autobahn. Check, set your signal, look over your shoulder, and check your blind spot. When clear, quickly pass up the other vehicle and get back to the right lane once you see the passed car in your rearview mirror, according to the drive right rule. Passing can only be done on the left. Okay, I can see some transporters coming up here, so I'm going to switch to the middle lane. See ya. See ya. Now I'm going to have to get back into the middle lane. I could have done that a little more quickly, actually. That Beamer's going pretty quick. Sometimes you get passed up with cars going like 250 kilometers an hour. It's crazy.
250 is wild. I'm not saying I have, but in another world, I've probably gone 190 on our Canadian highways. Not saying that I did or anything, but in an alternate universe, maybe I did.
So soon I'm coming up to my exit. I'm going to have to get into the right lane. Upon exiting, there's also some things to be aware of. Get in the right lane in time to exit. You want to set your signal 300 meters before exiting.
Make sure you're in the right lane in time to exit. There was a saying I saw the other day. I don't know if it was one on one of my videos, comment sections or what, but it was like, a bad driver never misses an exit because they realize they're missing it and they try to swerve over at the last second to get off the highway. A lot of times causing accidents.
And you're not allowed to start braking until you reach the deceleration lane.
What about letting your foot off the pedal?
All right, that's about it for our drive today. Thanks so much
Because there's going to be a lot of differentials in speed if nobody's using cruise control. Right? It's hard. Sometimes it's hard to maintain like an exact speed. You can go within 5 kilometers, maybe, I would say.
for joining me. I look forward to seeing you next time. Please make sure to give this video a like and a comment. Write whatever you would like about driving on the Autobahn. Have you done it before? How fast did you go? What do you think about driving on the Autobahn compared to the US interstate? Thanks for watching. See you next time.
Yeah, going fast is fun, and I know Germans, you sure like going fast. It's an exhilarating thing to do, whether you're in a boat, whether you're in a car, whether you're in a plane, planes, trains, or automobiles, or marine vessels. Even going in small planes. In the comment sections, let me know how many of you guys have been in a float plane. Have you been in a float plane before? Taking off from the water is really interesting because the float plane, you're at a zero speed, right? And when you start going, the nose is basically like right up in the air like that, and you slowly start going, and as you go, the nose just begins to come down, and like before you take off, you might be able to see in front of you. It makes for an interesting experience. There was an accident within the past couple of weeks in Cole Harbor in Vancouver, where a float plane crashed into a boat, and it was discovered that it was not the float plane's fault. The boat was in the middle of a designated aerodrome, float plane lane, like an aerodrome water lane for these aircrafts to take off and land. So it was the boaters' fault, and they were intoxicated. And they got, I don't know if they were given fines or criminal charges, but
Hey guys, there's just one more thing that I wanted to add to this video at the end. I thought about, I talked about all the rules on the Autobahn, but I didn't talk about what I think of the Autobahn compared to the US interstate. And I have to tell you, when I get back to the States for a visit, it's just a relief. I love driving in America because I can just sit back, put on the cruise control, and just cruise on the highway. Everybody's going about the same speed. Sometimes you got somebody who kind of rides your butt a little bit, but for the most part, the people just kind of flow at the same rate. And for me, that is much less stressful than having to be constantly looking up my rearview mirror. Is somebody else coming to ride my butt? Is there somebody coming at 250 kilometers an hour and wants to pass me up? And on the Autobahn, you've got the really slow semi-trucks on the right. I'm kind of in the middle, always passing those cars up. And on the left, I have the really fast BMWs and Mercedes and everything else, just going balls to the wall. So it's much less stressful, in my opinion, to drive in the States. I come from Wisconsin, and there's much less traffic there compared.
I mean, could you not, on the Autobahn, you could stay in, there's 3 lanes, you can stay in the lane to the far right, and then just go at a steady pace, could you not? And then go to the middle lane if you have to pass anybody, but you could still stay at that steady pace, get back to the right lane when you're done. So it's maybe a little bit anecdotal, his experience, and he's saying right now that he's from Wisconsin, and it's not super busy. Apply some of that to some of the interstates in New York State or California, Los Angeles, those places like that where traffic is an absolute just craziness. Or the 401 in Toronto is an absolute gong show. All right, let's just finish off this video here.
Compared to, let's say, California. But in my experience, the US interstate is a much more stress-free experience. Thanks a lot for watching. See you next time.
All right, thanks for watching. See you next time. Yeah, thanks for hanging out. We'll be back soon. There is a link in the description. Please send me things you want me to check out. I'm going to go back through all of the requests that I previously have gotten and make sure that I kind of start chipping away at those. I think there's over 100, like 150 requests now. I try to get to them as I go here. Anyways, have a wonderful day. Take care of yourselves. Drink lots of water and hit the gym, baby.